Hello, this is Katie, and I have a birthday card that I prepped for card class, and I had a couple extras, so these pieces were pre-cut, so this will be a little bit easier. I will be coloring these guys in and cutting them out, and then I have a card base. So I have a card that is a top folding 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This is one of the Cuttlebug dies that I've had since I had a Cuttlebug, which I don't have anymore, but I held on to it. And I saw it on a card like this, and it looked really cute. So we'll start with sticking that down. When you have an embossed, something you have run through an embossing folder, you don't always, if you're going to stick it down to the base anyway, you don't always want to run, especially if you have kind of a tough tape runner, run it necessarily on here because you might push out the embossing. So you want to maybe do the tape runner over here and just cover the entire surface there, and then just make sure this lines up and stick it down. That way you're not messing with any of the embossing there. So that's what I recommended the class do. I just refilled my tape runner, so it's very smooth and sticky. I usually just go around the edges and then do an X in the middle, so that should be good. I think it picked up some of the, I don't know what it's picking up, but it doesn't matter because it's getting covered up. And then I usually just match up the upper left corner and then the bottom left and just hope the rest works out. And this is a little bit too short on the right, so I can actually just stick that through the in my trimmer, and it should be okay. I'll just come back and try and cut that off, and then you can also use detail scissors to get the rest. You could also just follow it along with a pair of detail scissors as well. So this one, I'll just finish off the end there and also up to the top there. Okay, so then we have the base. Then I have this piece of cardstock. I'm not entirely sure what brand it was. I don't remember, but that's going to go along the left. So we'll stick that down. I had a couple people pick the striped side over the dotted side. They usually do something like that. Whenever I have double-sided patterned paper, there's always somebody who wants to use the other side, which is fine. And sometimes it looks better. I just never think about it. I get one idea in my head and then stick with it. Alright, so I've got that down there. And then I have a glitter strip. This is from the Die Cuts with a View glitter pack. They have a lot of different ones. This is the one that includes the teal green. And then that's going to cover up that line. And it went off the edge a little bit, so you just want to hide, just roll your adhesive back to the back side if that happens, which is pretty easy. Okay, and then just about halfway over the white and the other strip, just go straight down. Anything you press down when it comes to the embossing at this point over here doesn't matter because you're not going to see it anymore. Just try not to push out any of that embossing. And then I'm going to color these three, and then I will pause to cut it out, and then I'll come back so that you don't have to see that part. So I'm going to start with C1 and C2. I had to replace, I ended up using a lot of my C1 for a project, so I had to replace it. So I still have the old one. I think it's kind of worn out, but this is a new one, and so I put washi tape around it so I know. But I'll use C1 and C2 for the hippo. Starting out with the darker of the two. Again, you've seen my basic Copic skills. Just kind of outline and where you think shadows might be. And around the mouth there. Let me zoom in a little bit for this one. Then you can go and follow on top of that. So go over it with the lighter color while you're kind of pulling it in at the same time. And you'll need to do that a couple times to get that line to blend out. And I'm going to be cutting on the line with him so I can go outside if it's easier for me to kind of help blend. Sometimes it works better for me. If you have a die cut, it's most likely a little white bubble around the stamped image. So you don't want to color outside the lines, or else, unless you want the bubble around him, you could cover it in gray, and you want the bubble around him to also be gray, that's fine. But I'll be cutting him myself, so I'm going to go straight to the black line. So he's got some kind of a shading there, nothing too spectacular. And then the bird is just going to be one color, I think. Let me see. Yeah, I think I'll just do the one. And he'll just be some sort of red bird. And I think what I did was, he's going to be on top of the hippo. When I cut him out, I did cut off his feet, and I ended up drawing two little lines and putting him on there, so I'll probably do that again. I will grab just any orange for his little beak. So we have a bit of orange there. And then for the balloon, I have two blues that are fairly close, B00 and B01. So I will start with B01, which is a little darker, just on the left side. And then I can go over that, and I will be cutting the balloon. The string will have a little bubble around it because that's just too thin. I'll cut that myself, but the balloon, I can go outside the lines just for that. So I have a little bit of a darker blue hint on the left. So I will pause and then cut these guys out, and then I'll be back. I'm going to zoom out a little bit now, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have those guys cut out. You can see I put a little white around the balloon, which is, it looks fine on the card because I made one as a sample for the class, so I've seen it, but you just can't cut to the black. It would probably rip off just by touching it. So we have the base of the card. I'm going to put foam tape on the back of the hippo, and I'm going to use some of my many pieces of foam dimensionals that I have instead of my foam tape roll, just because they are next to me and the foam roll is kind of expensive. So we will do that. That one already came off. There's that one. Okay. So take the hippo and we'll put him, let me zoom out a tiny bit. Sorry about that. Take the hippo and put him so he's covering kind of all three panels. And then for the birdie, I have the Micron pen. It is still in the box from Card Glass right behind me. So I'm going to hold the birdie kind of where I think I'm going to want him. And I'm going to draw his little feet under that. I mean, they're going to be under him, so I can hide as much of those as I want. And then on the back of the birdie, I think I could fit maybe not one whole one of these. Let me trim it down. I'll just cut a little off the side, and that should cover him. Now we want him to be on over the hippo a little bit, so I probably want to trim a little bit more off. So I leave a little bit open on the bottom where there's no foam, so I can hover over. I suppose I did this wrong, huh? Let's start over, shall we? Okay. So scrape off that one. The Stampin' Up! Dimensionals really don't want to come off. So I'm just going to actually use this side, which I end up doing anyway. I think I learned it from my Stampin' Up! Stamping friend. She uses these pieces as well. I mean, why wouldn't you? But you can use kind of a smaller piece and just cut it to the size that you want. And then I'll just put that near his head. Then I can hover him over the hippo and then press him down so he's still sticking to the card, and then he's layered on top of the hippo. Then for the balloon, we want a piece on the back of the balloon, so that should be the right length without being able to see it from the front. And then what you also want to do is put a little bit of glue. I think I'll use the Tombow Mono Multi. I'll put it on the little birdie. Maybe I'll put some glue under him too. He seems a little loose. Okay. So I'll put some glue under him, and it's kind of squeezing out. So I'll scrape that up. Put a little glue on his arm, or his little wing. And then we'll peel the back off the foam. So at the same time we're attaching the string to his hand, we can push down the foam on the balloon. So I'm going to hold down these two, the bird as well, since I put some glue under him, just for a few seconds to make sure that they're down, and then I will let those dry. I didn't think about this before, but I think I will add Wink of Stella, because why not, onto the balloon. Kind of goes with the glitter that's behind it. It could be a bit too much sparkle, but that's all right. So give that some sparkle as well. And then that will dry to his hand. So we've got that glitter on the balloon as well. And then that is the card. So I'll probably set that aside, just let that dry a little bit. And there you go. All right. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you soon. Bye.